What if all the cliches we've heard over since the course of time are true? If you can see it, you can believe it. Become your most powerful self. But what if it's true? In my book, Blue Rose, Bookstore Sanctuary for Your Soul, Annie learned that you can become your most powerful self. If you see it, you can believe it, because if you can see it, it's already here. If you can believe it, it's because it's already here. It's already within you. Becoming your most powerful self is possible because your most powerful self is already within. We just don't want to believe that. We don't want to believe that what we truly want is possible. We want to make it much harder because we've been taught in school, if you really want it, you got to work really, really, really hard to get it. And we abide into that thesis that if I really, really want to write a book and become a best-selling author, I got to work really, really, really hard at it. But if you really like to write like I do, then you're not working that hard because you love what you're doing. I mean, writing Blue Rose Bookstore Sanctuary for Your Soul was a joy. Becoming an international best-selling author for the voices of the 21st century, which mine was turning pain into your purpose, was a joy. But we want to make it harder. I don't know if it's part of the human experience. I don't know if it's how we're taught. But to become your most powerful self is knowing that that vision's here. When I dream of all the things I dream of in my life to be possible, and I sit back and sometimes I look at what I've accomplished, sit back and look at all you've accomplished. Look at everything. Give yourself credit for everything you've accomplished. Get out a piece of paper and write down all the stuff you've accomplished. I don't care how insignificant you think it is. You may think raising 3 children that are amazing is insignificant, but it's not. That is an amazing accomplishment. You may think losing 10, 20, 50, 100 pounds is insignificant, but it's not. That's amazing. Everything you have accomplished in your life is a positive. And look at everything you've accomplished because you believed it, because that person was within. And when I help them become their most powerful self, the first thing I teach you is you're there. That person's here. You just don't know how to bring it out because it's been buried. She's been buried away for so long that you're not even sure what she looks like. And gentlemen, I use she, but you can replace with he. You don't even know what she looks like. When I sat down and thought, every time I thought, who do I want to become? You know, when I get to the fourth quarter of every year, I always sit down and I start thinking, who do I want to become next year? And it finally hit me this year is not becoming that person. It's being that person. It's accepting that she's here, accepting that she's contained within me. So if I want to become a woman who helps millions heal their past so they can step into who they truly want to step into, to give you the faith, to give you the courage, to give you the trust that you can do it, then who am I not to? For years, I've played small. And how many of you for years have played small? How many of you are in a job that you think, you know, that job over there, I could do that job, but who am I to do that job? Who are you not to do that job? Who are you not to take that step forward? Instead, we have a tendency to wait for permission. And I really think it's part of being a woman. You know, am I good enough? Am I smart enough? Am I worthy? Am I worthy of that position? Am I smart enough for that job? Of course you are. Because again, if you can see it, if you desire it, then it's there. Our desires are what's calling us. Our desires is our soul saying to us, hey, wake up. This is who we are. Don't believe in the old script people told you. Don't believe in the script you run in your mind all the time. Believe that you are that person. When you see that target, believe that you can get it. Now, I've chased a lot of targets, and I have not hit every target. But have I perhaps not hit it because I really didn't want to? Maybe you had that dream that you started to go after and then you kind of stopped. Did you stop because you didn't believe in it? Or did you stop because you realized it wasn't your dream? Either way, it was still there. You chose to think maybe it's not. We shrink. We don't want to believe that we are as amazing as we are. Instead, we'd rather look at the Oprahs of the world, the Jamie Lima Kern of the world, Amy Porterfields of the world, the Marie Forleos of the world, and look at them and say, gosh, I wish I could be like that. You know, the Julia Roberts of the world, I wish I could be like that. But you can be if it calls you. I love Julia Roberts, love her movies, but I've never been called to be like her because it doesn't resonate with me. Because being an actress doesn't resonate with me. But I may look at Mel Robbins and think, man, gosh, I wish I could be like her. Why? Because she writes best-selling books, and I write books. So I want to be that part of her. So you don't, when you look at somebody and think, gosh, I wish I was like her, you may not want to be all the way like her. I don't want to be all the way like Oprah. I would just like to have Super Soul Sunday. I would like to have a show where I could interview women to find out what makes them tick, what makes them who they are. And that's why I'm starting to interview people on my podcast again, because people fascinate me. I want to know what makes you you. And I want you to see what makes you you. And I want you to believe what makes you you. And I want everybody to understand how great you can be. So getting back to my beginning thesis, being your most powerful self is sitting down with a piece of paper and a pencil or a computer or a laptop or your phone or whatever writing you use and type what that looks like. When you're your most powerful self, how does that look? And some of you may be going, well, I've never really got there. But you still have the dream. You still know what it's going to look like. You still know what she looks like. Because we want to be that person. We recognize it in other people. When you look at somebody that you might know that really resonates with you, and you look at them and you think, gosh, look at how articulate she is. Look at how coiffed she is. Look how she handles herself. Look how smart she is. Whatever it is, that's because, again, it's a part of you. And you're resonating. You're looking over and you're resonating. So when you resonate with something somebody is, does, or do, or is, then you've got to think, is that within you? But it also holds true if you are repelled by somebody. If somebody does something that you think is completely irreprehensible, I really butchered that word, somebody that you see that you really think is bad or evil or yucky, that's also a part of you. It doesn't mean you have the ability to do what they're doing. It just means that you're somewhere within, you respond to that. I mean, I can sit and they can be talking about somebody that did a horrendous crime, and I'll be like, oh, that's really bad. But if it's a crime against children, it hurts my heart. See, we resonate with negative and positive that's contained within. And so when you see somebody and it, it really bothers you that you did it, you've got to see, why does that resonate within? Because when you're seeking who you're meant to be, when you become a seeker, like I became a seeker years ago, when I first got the first Tony Robbins book, when you're a seeker, you're always looking. You're always watching people. You're always watching things because you're seeking answers. And you're seeking answers for yourself to up level, because you recognize on an unconscious, subconscious level that is within us. We have that little light right there, that little flicker. And as we get closer and closer and closer and closer and closer to who our soul is, that flicker grows and grows until it turns into a beautiful blue rose. Right now, it's just a little bud of a blue rose, a little flicker with a little sun shining on it, trying to help it grow. But when you find your blue rose, you'll know it. Every time I step into another level of my blue rose, and every time I watch one of my women leaders that I coach step into the blue rose, it is like watching this rose bloom and blossom. Because when you're ready to step into who you're meant to be, you bloom. And it's like looking in the mirror and going, hey, I recognize you. I remember you. I saw you when I was a child. I saw you when I was 11 years old. Or I saw you when I was 5 or 6. Or my teacher told me about you. They were right. Somebody in your life recognizes you as you could be, as you can be, as you want to be, and as sometimes we are. Sometimes that person percolates up and we have the faith and the courage to stand in that person. And we stand tall and we're like, yes, I can do this. And then something happens and we allow ourselves to shrink back down. But you're not going to shrink anymore, are you? You're going to raise your hand and say, I am going to find my blue rose and I am no longer going to shrink. I'm going to stand in my power. I'm going to trust in me. I'm going to trust in the universe, whether it's God, creator, whatever you want to call it. I'm going to trust in that. And I'm going to believe that I am that person. And I'm going to start acting like that person. And every time you start acting as if, it works. It's not, I mean, people say act as if this, and they will say, well, that doesn't work. It works. But you have to believe. You have to believe, and it has to be something that calls you. You can't act as if you're this world-class baker and you bake these world-class cookies if you really don't like to bake. You do bake good cookies. Your cookies are great, but it's not something that calls you. Then, yeah, that could be a hobby. Yeah, you could probably make money on it, but you may not monetize it because in the way you want to because it doesn't call you. But maybe in the background, what you really like to do is take pictures. And I know somebody, my sister loves to take pictures. She can hang out of a car going down I-10 on the way to California and take a picture. And it'll be fantastic. They'll be like, how did you get that picture? We're going 90 miles an hour down to 10. And she's like, I don't know. It's her gift. And I'm always like, why don't you sell these pictures? There's all kinds of people like me looking for these kind of pictures that we can put all kinds of stuff on. I don't know. I'm just not that good. Yeah, she is. When people start saying to you, why don't you? Or why are you not? Listen, that is the universe reflecting back to you what could possibly be your calling that you're not recognizing. So I really hope this helped you guys. I really hope that you understand that when you think about, I'm going to be my most powerful self, I'm going to become my most powerful self, what we're really saying is we know that person's here. She's in my soul. I know she's here. I've got to start not being fearful. Step one, I got to stop being fearful. Two, I got to start believing. I got to believe in myself. I got to believe that I was given that gift. I got to believe that there is a blue rose contained within, because we all have a blue rose. We all have that calling, that soul level calling. We all have it. And I have that blue rose. And it's up to me to go after that blue rose. Because trust me when I tell you this, I work in senior living. If you go into an assisted living or retirement, anywhere you go and you sit down and talk with seniors, and they're a joy to talk to and to listen to their stories and their life experiences, at some point, usually pretty early on, they will tell you, I wish I would have. I regret not doing. Don't be 80, 90, 100 and say, wish I would have taken that trip to Europe. I wish I would have done this, or I regret doing that. Don't live in wishes and regrets. Live in, I'm doing it. Because sometimes you're going to find out, I really want to go to Europe. And then the opportunity comes and you're like, I don't really want to go to Europe. I want to go do this. Follow your dreams. Trust yourself. But please understand, you have a blue rose contained. And if you're one of those people and you're like, I know, I'm already in my blue rose. Gosh, I love what I do. I do this, this, and this. Fantastic. But if you're still looking for your blue rose, jump over to my Facebook group, Find Your Blue Rose. We're going to talk a lot more discussions and have workshops over there. So you can jump over there, and this is probably going to get taken off if this is on another medium. Take the time to decide what you want. And what you decide today isn't what you want tomorrow. That's okay. That's okay. I've had a lot of dreams. And I've been blessed to have the job of a lifetime. I love my job. It is a job of a lifetime. Doesn't mean it's going to fulfill my cup the rest of my life. At some point, my cup's going to be like, I love what I do, but I think somebody else would be better at this job because I'm being called to go over here. So your blue rose grows and evolves and grows and grows. But the secret is find your blue rose and then step in and be your most powerful self. And when you do that, everything else will start opening up. I hope this helped. And again, I don't know if I said in the beginning, I'm Karen Barnard, and I help women leaders transform their lives by healing their past to become their most powerful self, healing their past and trusting who they're calling to be, who they're called to be. Have a great day, you guys, and take care. And, if you're watching my podcast, give me a like and subscribe. If you're watching this on YouTube, give me a like and subscribe. Wherever you're watching this, give me a like and subscribe, because you're going to see a lot more presence of me. Every time I say I'm going to start doing this, something happens in my day job, but I have committed to myself to stop letting myself down by not doing this more often. Have a great day, you guys. And here's to you, finding your blue rose.